Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition. Hello, Facebook user. Appalachian Tales of Terror with Jimmy. Standing Stones. So, and Roger. Hello over there, Roger. Welcome, everybody.
Hello,
And
hello.
we got Amy. So, how was your trip there, Chris?
Oh, it was amazing. Loved it. Tennessee was beautiful as always. Um, didn't do a whole lot of Bigfooting. I did get to hear a sound like a wood knock and some unusual noise going on up past the cabin. But I kind of reserved it a little bit for family and spent some time with my daughter.
That's
Um,
good.
did get to go to the Bigfoot Museum. Got myself a nice Bigfoot hat, I believe. I'm sporting my hat tonight.
That's right. That's right.
But
Yeah.
the
Give a
Bigfoot
round of
Museum,
applause for that.
the Bigfoot Museum was pretty cool in Cherry Log, Florida. Not Florida, Cherry Log, Georgia, up in the Blue Ridge area. And man, they had a lot of cool stuff up there. If you ever get a chance to go down there for you, if you're ever in the area, it's worth the trip. If anybody's out there, they've got a pretty good setup. They have a lot of different videos. They've got different stories and um, even all the way down to I think a video talking about the one where the helicopter crash that happened in Georgia, and then the military squad went out there to secure the area, and they found Bigfoot
Yeah.
and
They
dragging
didn't
out the
know what to
bodies,
do.
and yeah, I mean, and then showed our friend Brian. They had a big 3 foot case, glass case, plexiglass or something, with a giant Bigfoot turd in there. It was a log. The thing was huge. I was like, man, Brian would be proud of this one. So
Wow.
I had to send that to him. He was rolling. He's like, I wonder if they like locked that, made that airtight or what. He's like, they had it stink. I'm like, I don't know. Hopefully they freeze dried it or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
So
Brian was a big hit at my conference. I had one of those big chug-a-lug drinks, right?
right.
You buy like for like $10, you go to the gas station, get refills.
Hmm.
And I was like, I had a guy that went out there and he like 8 to 10 of these a week with peanut butter, and they're like, he did what? And I'm like, yeah, he sure did. Poor Brian. I mean, every time I have a chance to talk about him, I do. I know he's not in the chat tonight, but hopefully he's feeling better. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was interesting. But
With
but
the
no, it was wild.
So if anybody's going out there, this is the website. It's expeditionbigfoot.com. That's the museum website. It shows a little bit of stuff on there. They got some. These are, I think, as a matter of fact, I saw the same cast Jeff Meldrum had at the conference because he had some of these that were for sale. But they had a lot of different stuff in there, talking about every aspect that you can imagine, from the Yeti to skunk ape. I was kind of surprised I didn't see David Shealy's name in there anywhere, but they even had a setup where you can sit there and listen to the Sierra sounds and just everything that you could pretty much imagine was in there. So it was cool. It was a fun little time. I had my daughter, so I didn't get to spend as much time in there. She's like, "Did you bring me here to see if you can get me to believe in it, Dad?" I'm like, I was like, "Well, whether you believe it or not, that's a different ballgame." The funny thing is, though, during whole vacation when we were up in Tennessee after that, every shot glass, mug, T-shirt, that had Bigfoot on it, she was pointing it out to me the whole time. So it was kind of funny.
Right, right.
Yeah, but no, I had a
Well,
blast though.
that's good. Because at the conference, I didn't know I was the only cryptid guy there, and everybody else was paranormal. So I was like, "Well, how many people believe in ghosts and spirits?" Everybody raised their hand. And I was like, wow, that was a stupid question. And I was like, how many people believe in Bigfoot? Everybody raised their hand. I'm like, well, at least I'm half safe.
Right,
So,
right.
am from Florida. Welcome to the show. Nice to have you with Rebecca. So yeah,
TBT.
but it was interesting, and but you know what's really very interesting? Did you watch that show with Decker? Was it Decker or who was it about Sasquatch in courts?
In courts.
Yeah. So now it was Cat from Australia in Old Bear, and basically, you know, Cat from Australia, she's a remote viewer and a dowser, right? And she's into a lot of her rocks and quartz and vibrations and crystals and all that other stuff. Old Bear was in a place, and he noticed that it was a lot of moss. And on top of the moss was quartz about yay size. And he was like, something's not right. And he said, because they were on top of the moss, but there were no rocks around. And so the more he looked, the more he found. So moss, M-O-S-S. Yes, Amy, moss, green moss that grows. And so for some reason, he got his pen and paper out and he plotted each rock that he found. And it was the milky quartz that looks like milk, right? The milky.
Right.
And it was all like different points and stuff. It wasn't smooth, it was very rough. And Cat was like, you know, I mean, her eyes got big and she was like, oh, hold on. And she's going back getting all these little crystals and I didn't know that she was doing experiments with Yowie with a person in Australia. And Old Bear was like, as he walked up this mountain, he plotted out that these quartz went in a spiral direction all the way up to the top of the mountain, to the peak.
Like
now, what really, Brian, you just missed it. I just gave you a plug at the conference. So yes, welcome Barb and Brian, Liana. And what sparked the conversation is that he was watching a camper flipping through YouTube, and this camper was noticing these quartz, but didn't pay too much attention. O'Bear was like, that's the same stuff I'm finding. So he reached out to the guy on YouTube, and he was starting to ask questions, but he didn't say anything about Bigfoot. And the guy was like, yeah, man, I'm hearing like weird stuff at night and all this other stuff. And he was like more about asking about the location of the rocks and quartz and whatnot. And it was in the same pattern. And Cat was like, listen. So Old Bear reached out to a gemologist. Is that right?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
Yeah.
And these were not in the area. They're not supposed to be there. That's what I'm trying to say. So they were placed
found
there.
in the region.
Right. So they were placed there. Now, Cat was saying that you have to have an amplifier at the top. So that there's possibly a couple of theories that this is a beacon. Hello, we meet here if there's problems, or it's an alarm system where all the frequencies are tied in together. When you break it, they can feel the frequencies vibrate and be interrupted, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, but the other guy didn't know, and Old Bear didn't tell him about geologist. Thank you. Was that what I said? What did I say?
Gemology.
Oh, right. Well, thank you, Brian. But it was interesting because then we got a lecture for another hour about frequencies and stones. But hey, well, welcome, Facebook user. Give you a round of applause there. And so Kat was talking to a guy that was digging gold and that ran in some yowies. And she was trying to figure out if they like colors or frequencies of different crystals.
Hmm.
So she was telling the guy what to leave out, like popsicle sticks, like Brian does, the different colors,
Yeah.
to see what they would take. And each time they would take the milky quartz. So there's something related to that somehow.
Vibration of the rock.
We don't know. So, I mean, that to me, it's very fat. And Old Bear was just like, I mean, he was just like glued to the screen because his wheels were like turning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he said if you could have saw how these were laid out, he was like, it was like a perfect spiral all the way to the top. And this other guy on this channel that he was monitoring had them laid out similar, almost identical the way he found his. And when he was talking to him, you know, the guy was like, yeah, it was kind of strange, you know, because they were just laying there. And it was just like, I didn't see like a vein or anything like that. And
Right.
they was like, you know, it didn't make sense why they were here. And Kat was like, you know, if you disturb that field, you know, then if they can pick up on the frequencies, they would know. So it was just interesting. I mean, what's your thought on it?
Kind of cool. Very interesting, actually. Overall, I can see why Old Bear's intrigued by it. It just makes me think of the old petroglyphs and hieroglyphs.
Right.
Yeah, the symbol of the swirl has been around for a long time, and a lot of indigenous cultures, relate it to portals. And Skinwalker Ranch, you got that one where they had on an episode that was, I guess they were out there with some drums doing some drum work, and it was actually the rocks were getting hot on a thermal that were in
Right.
the spiral. There's a lot of something to it. I don't know. I don't know if it's related in all the same sense, but very interesting that they're intrigued by or drawn to that one type of quartz, the milky quartz.
Right. Now, on that one
Maybe
Wednesday
something to it.
show that you left, right, that you
Mhm.
wasn't on there, Mike showed a picture of his buddy's greenhouse. And alleged Sasquatch made a swirl. Welcome, Gary Spikes.
I guess.
Did a swirl and it had a hook on it, and they compared it to a Reiki symbol. And it was on the upper window of a greenhouse on the condensation, and they did it with their finger. So, and it was a swirl. So that was very interesting. So, what is the similarities with that swirl? What does that mean? And Brian Barber, do you remember what the Reiki symbol meant? If you can type that out, I don't remember what the Reiki symbol meant because I know Brian was in the conversation a lot too. Or if anybody remembers, I'm sorry, I got CRS, can't remember sheet.
Swirls when I do abstract art. Power.
Brian says power. So, but yeah, swirl means circling the drain. But yeah, so it was just very interesting having that correlation of that show that Wednesday and then finding out that Friday of the correlation of the crystals and them, especially with the milky quartz. So, and of course, Kat was saying, I don't remember the hertz or the frequency it vibrates or resonates. I mean, she's the experts on that because she's the rock hound. So, but it was, I don't know, it just made me stop and think a lot, because out back we have quartz on the creek and stuff. When I was a child, we used to find it all the time. And we have moss, but we would have veins of it though. It wouldn't just be lying around.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. You'd find traces of it.
but if they do pick up on vibrations and frequencies, that would be interesting because alarm system or a meeting place or something like that. Yeah.
Here's I just did some looking up on what the squirrels have as far as general interpretations in petroglyphs. I use 5 examples: symbol of life and regeneration, cosmic symbolism. So it can be some kind of celestial or cosmic symbolism, water or fluidity. Can't say that for whatever reason. Journey or transformation, and symbolisms and rituals and ceremonies. So I would say the journey and or transformation would have to do with some more of the portal type of thing. But that's interesting. Just kind of curious. Figures related. It's really
Yeah.
cool though. I mean, to find them in a swirl pattern and not even from the region. Just placed there.
Yeah, it was. That was very interesting. And, it piqued my interest, especially when he found it on another channel in another region. And it was another state, too. So, and the guy was camping. And the way Kat was like, no, you should not, interrupt that field. That's a big no-no. You know how she talks, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a big no-no. So, because you're breaking that field because you got to have an amplifier or something, whatever she called it. But yeah, but I don't know. I just wanted to throw it out there and see what you thought about it.
Well, it'd
So
be interesting if somebody was able to collect some eDNA or something like that from the area, see what comes up or off of one of the rocks themselves. But
hey, Walthus, welcome to the show. Nice to have you back. Been a while. Yeah, it would be. It really would be. So
I wanted to circle back a little bit. Just one thing for Dennis, who he brought up, and I don't know if everybody here was in that show. Was it Friday night? Or Sunday? I can't remember what it was. But what Killary had brought up, it's pretty disturbing from the most part. But if that doesn't kind of scare you, I wasn't well, like he's talking about the barrier death of the United States, but just listening to what she says, she wants to target Trump voters, saying that they need formal deprogramming. If that's not messed up, I mean that should be concerning for a lot of people in general, because it's just you know if people should have the right to say whatever they want to say as far as that goes, right? We have the First Amendment,
yeah,
and just
well,
because you don't agree with somebody doesn't mean they should be deprogrammed. I mean, just the words that they're using is a little bit disturbing, but
yeah, he was pretty fired up during that show.
yeah, it was. What do you think about this over Israel thing?
I didn't know anything about it. I still don't know too much about it until I got back. I haven't really watched the news or anything. So
Yeah, they got attacked by a pretty significant attack. I've heard anywhere from 3,500 to 5,000 missiles hitting Palestine, and a lot of people dying. They basically invaded it and were pulling, dragging people out of their houses and murdering kids, uh, families, children, and everything. And if they wouldn't come out of the house, they would just burn the houses down. It was pretty nasty conflict. It almost feels like it was set up to be a bigger agenda in a way, almost like tug at the heartstrings of everybody.
Yeah, that's what it
Still,
sounds like.
and then now they already have one of our U.S. warships heading over, parked by Israel, and we're getting drug right into the fun. But on the good news, Biden all of a sudden is doing a U-turn on building the border wall in Texas because there was a whole slew of people coming across, and it was getting pretty bad to the point where they're actually saying, "Oh wait, we should build a wall."
It's election time.
Yeah,
So,
unreal,
but
unreal.
I tell you this, we did have we are live in Africa.
Oh yeah,
So yeah, so we had some people came up in our chat the other night from Africa, said hello. I forgot where at in Africa. Ghana.
Ghana.
Ghana, yeah. Did they have? We were trying to ask them. Did they have Bigfoot over there?
Good question. I'm sure they do, or some version of.
I don't know. I want to know. I want to know if they have Bigfoot. So I wonder what they're called. So Catherine says they call them something else.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything showing up for that. I'm sure. It seems like that across the whole world. There's some version of it, and they all have their own names. I've seen those memes floating around with all the different ones, and all the different sizes and the way they look. And
Yeah. But it was interesting to see that, so we're actually, I figured out how to translate some of our shows in different languages. So that's interesting.
oh, really,
Yeah. So that's helping some. So yeah. Comrade Bigavoski. Where'd that come from? I can chat with missiles firing overhead. Amy, are you in Israel? I thought she was in the UK. Where are you at, Amy?
Or she'd still chat regardless, is what she's saying. I don't know.
Oh, so I hope you're not.
Yeah, I just don't. Hopefully, don't try to drag us into another. Again, it's sad to see. I mean, nobody wants to see war. I mean, Ukraine was bad enough, but again,
Alabama.
does the U.S. need to be involved in all that?
We're going to protect Israel, no matter what
Well,
it costs.
you know that's going to happen.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
So when's your next venture going out?
This weekend I'm going down to a Paracon in kind of mid South Florida, not all the way south, but so we're gonna hang out there for a few hours. I'll post it on the website, and we got like the weekend after that. I believe we're going down to Mayaca with some group members on a pontoon boat, and we're gonna hit some areas that we can go Bigfooting. Oh,
That'd be nice.
the next several weekends, I got stuff lined up, and it's possibly go camping with Marty in a couple weekends. Not this weekend, but next weekend. So
Good.
that might be fun, and that'll be up in Kathy's Westerman's neck of the woods, Goth, Florida. So I'm trying to make it up there. Yeah, we got a lot going on. It's gonna be fun. Weather's
Awesome.
cooling off a little bit. It's starting to become more of the Bigfoot weather for Floridians because it's, I don't mind going out in the summer but yeah, it'll just that heat will it'll wear you pretty quick, wear you
Yeah.
down. So when you doing your cameras?
So I'm going out in the morning. My daughter's here. So we're going to gather them all, do the batteries and reset some of them. And, 'cause you got to keep the cards with the cameras. You got to marry the cards with the cameras. So we're going to
We
take them all
get them
down.
like numbered or something, or in order to keep track of that,
No,
or
I'm gonna each camera, I'm gonna pull the card out, put it in the computer, take off whatever's on there onto the computer, erase the card, put it back in the camera, check the
you're gonna do
batteries.
that in the field?
No, I'm taking all
Uh,
the cameras down.
oh, you're taking them down and bringing them back. Okay,
Then I'm gonna go
I was
back
wondering.
out and reinstall some,
I was wondering if you
probably
were
the
doing
next
some kind of
morning.
number system and leave them up and just doing like a swap, but then you'd have to have double the memory cards in order to
Yeah,
make that happen.
right. So because don't forget I got rechargeable batteries, so I can this way it gives me, 6 hours, 7 hours to charge the batteries up on some of them. So,
How many chargers do you have?
8.
They say you got a lot of batteries. It's going to take a lot of
Yeah.
chargers too.
Yeah. I got a lot of chargers. Yeah, I do. So, hey, I may have a bus. So I don't know. So
Did you have the one sponsored? Do you already have that one out in the field too? Or
now I'm putting that out Wednesday
gotcha.
morning. So, yeah, I got a cable lock for that one. I got a couple cable locks that came in. So,
Nice. That's going to be awesome. I can't
yeah.
wait to see what you get. You
Now
got to
that
get
one's
something.
solar power, so it's already charged. I just got to put the code in. So if anybody steals it, cuts the cable or whatnot, they still can't use it. But
Yeah.
yeah. So we're kind of excited. I know I'm going to see wildlife on it, but I'm waiting to see the gorilla tape. That's what I'm wanting to see.
Well, bring your
So
tweezers and bring some envelopes.
I already got it all packed in the big old Under Armour duffel bag because
Remember,
that's
don't
where
use
we're.
the plastic. Well, you
That's
should know
right.
this anyway. You know this anyway,
Yep.
being law enforcement. So,
So yeah, I've got everything ready to go for the morning. She doesn't know who's carrying the bag though.
who you got going? Your daughter?
Yeah, she's out here with me.
Nice, good.
So yeah. So
And she went to Paracon with you, or not the conference or whatever.
yeah, she sure did. She really enjoyed it. So yeah. Take your time with the game cam footage. You don't yeah, I am. I am. So I got a mixture with video and pics. I got them set on different settings. So I'm gonna
Well,
be very picky.
you're gonna have to hire a film crew to go through all. How many hours of film and pictures you probably
God,
have
it's
sitting
been
there?
over a month, hasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. You're gonna have a
So,
lot to go through.
but yeah, so,
That'd
but,
be cool.
but I got a couple of 16 terabyte hard drives on standby. So if I have to put,
16 terabytes.
yeah.
Good night.
So if I have to put them on there until I go through them, I can.
Are they SDD or HDD?
SSD.
SSD. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. They're real small. They're only this big.
Yep. Those are the ones I get.
Yep. I got 2 of them.
They take a little time. The USBs aren't the fastest thing in the world. The best ones are like actually in the computers because they're just a whole lot faster. But
Right.
they still, as long as you have the space, and it just takes a little time to transfer.
Yeah, TMT. That's my plan B and C. I got different plans. So, yep. I remember what you all said on some of your all's footage on some of your all's trail cams. So, yeah, that gave me some ideas as well.
Like what?
So, he had some of his set on where it automatically took pictures.
Oh yeah.
every 2 or 3 minutes, So
I think if you were to catch anything, that would be the way to catch it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
'Cause I think
Penny
some
Van.
reason. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Milky milk quartz is the most common quartz. It's found everywhere. There are massive deposits of milk quartz in the mines of Siberia as well as throughout the Alps, Brazil, and even Japan. Yeah, but what was weird though is that the place where these were found, there were no deposits, and they were not supposed to be in that area in these two places. That in the way they were placed in the spiral. That's what caught everybody's attention. Hello, Yolanda. Welcome to the show. So, how did
Yeah,
the
Brian,
camera get small?
we're talking about you, Brian. Don't worry. I don't
I
think we
did at
go a
the
show without.
conference.
That's the best. Your story is epic, Brian. It's a legend. It's a legend in itself.
So yeah, I did, Brian. I brought you right up at the conference, man. They were like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I showed them how big my drinking mug was, and I'm like, "That's the size of the peanut butter jars." They about had a fit. They're like, Did he not know not to feed stray animals?" I'm like, he came on, did a public service announcement. So
I
get
think
some
it's funny.
Velcro.
I think it's funny that it was a paranormal conference, and you were kind of the
Yeah,
only
and I was the only
cryptid.
cryptid
Yeah,
guy there.
because to me that
So
kind of goes hand in hand, doesn't it? I mean, I don't. I don't know. Just not. I guess not everybody's cryptid is paranormal and vice versa, but that
they were
paranormal
a
was
lot
pretty good.
of good people though. A lot of good people. I enjoyed them. So
Tell me about this haunted hospital you were going to go to.
yeah, I don't know. It's just an abandoned haunted hospital that they were going to after the show, and I couldn't go because my daughter had homework and stuff, and we didn't eat all day, and we had snacks, but yeah, and I had equipment. I had equipment in the back of the car left over
Like,
from the cemetery. Oh, it was
like
funny because they asked me, they're like, "All right, Grizzly. So when's the one time that you were caught off guard and you wasn't ready?" And what did I tell them? The cemetery.
the bicycle.
And boy, when I told them I had a ghost running at me, boy, everybody was just like, "What?" Really? Then when I told them it was a bicyclist, oops, wrong button.
That's what you almost did to the bicycle.
No, they
Like,
lost it. I'm like, what's funny now? But yeah. Good night,
oh man,
Rebecca. Sweet dreams. But no, it was real nice. Real nice people, man. I love how they investigate their tactics, what they thought about the community and how they treat each other. So yeah, it was very interesting.
should have told your daughter, hey, look, we're gonna stop at the convenience store and get you a hot dog. We're going. I know you're hungry, but we're going.
But I had like a bag of like cookies, nutty bars, chips. But that stuff, all day, you needed substance.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, but it was great though. It really was. And we had one guy he thought he saw Bigfoot at LBL that jumped the guardrail. He damn near wrecked his car. He didn't know what it was at first because he's like, I hit 2 deer on the way to work there in the past 2 years. And one guy had a dogman encounter that he swears up and down. He's an author, well-known author down there. So, but no, it was very interesting. So she enjoyed it. So, but I want to learn more about Bigfoot and rocks. What's the tie in the spiral? I like to know the Indians and what they think about that. Yeah, this Bigfoot likes
I think it's
rings.
tied to that. I think it's tied to the same reasonings. Because I still think there's some kind of correlation there with the Indians and Sasquatch to begin with, right?
Right.
Sometimes they talk to them. We've heard evidence of them trading with them in the past, and there's a lot. There's just a lot of history there. 2 rows of teeth, as we hear. Some Indians have two sets of teeth.
Yeah, that
And
was very
possibly
fascinating.
Sasquatch too. So it's very, very interesting.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of unanswered questions. So the spiral's never a good sign, no matter the culture. Hey, war criminal. So yeah, but I don't know. I just like to know what their thinking is behind that. Their meaning. So that's what I
Catherine,
like to know.
I'm with you there, Catherine. Won't see me in the LBL for any reason. Not looking for dogman. Bigfoot's one thing, dogman no. That's what I'll pass.
So it's documented. I found over 276 cemeteries down there.
Yeah, there's a lot. In the LBL, yeah.
Yep. I found it online. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but yes.
I thought it was like in the 70s, but even if there's that many, that's a lot for that region. How many square miles is that?
I don't know. War criminal will know. He's down there a lot. Hello, Juno. Welcome to the show. Thank you. But Ken, the paranormal guy, he wants to do a investigation down there at LBL springtime. I'm like, I'm game.
265 square miles.
He goes, I don't know what we're going to do if we come across Bigfoot. I'm like, I don't care about Bigfoot. I just don't want to see Dogman. So I was like, you can do your paranormal. And he's like, man, he's like, but in the cemeteries, we hear tree knocks and we hear things that's not normal. I'm like, yeah, you're in the LBL. So when he was like, man, he's like, we'll be in places where we shouldn't be, and then we just come across a cemetery. And next thing you know, it's like you don't hear no animals, no nothing. And he says, you see strange lights. And I'm like, yeah.
UFOs too.
So, but I told him, Google says more than 270. I found 276. So many over 300 penny van. Yeah. So 276 cemeteries. People wonder why there's so much paranormal activity. But yeah, right. But I told him, I said, yeah, so I got my tent, sleeping bag, and all my heaters and everything else. And everybody else was like, holy water.
Right. And not to mention that whole area is surrounded by lake. The big lake goes around it.
Yes.
And one of them has a town underneath it.
Yes.
It was flooded out. So I wonder how many people died along that situation. Like, I don't know if they created a dam somewhere and it just backed up and flooded it or what, but
That's what they did with Taylorsville Lake in Kentucky. They flooded the town. So, yeah.
Whose bright idea is that?
You can see the buildings on the fish finder.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the house. Yeah. So,
Crazy.
absolutely. So, yeah, that's pretty interesting. But I told him, I'm like, yeah, I mean, if you don't want to go to LBL, he's got his whole team. And I was like, yes, I'll go. I was like, Shelby, you want to go? She's like, I'm like, you want to go? Ain't gonna be no SpongeBob down there for you.
I'm sure she's gonna be interested in that a little bit. Probably won't have as many bicyclists running through there either.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, if that actually happens down there, I'm not going to say it's going to be somebody on a bike. So, Thomas, yeah, I'll let you know when we go. I'll go. So he's going to give me a date this spring, and I'll let you know. Yeah. So.
Oh, maybe I'll join you. I say I won't go to LBL, but it does sound intriguing one way or
Mike
another.
Scott said he'll go. It's Mike Scott's not far from the LBL either. So
Make a big party out of it.
Mike Bing. Oh baby, come here.
He'll be
It's
serenading the
okay.
ladies, the lady Bigfoots.
Yeah, right. So, but it was just interesting to hear some of the stories from the LBL, and even the people that I interviewed down there from the LBL, even War Criminal will tell you. I mean, he's down there a lot too. It's just it's just wild. It's totally a different atmosphere than the regular world, than being out in just normal woods. It's just, when they shut down part of that park and let it overgrown and cut it off from the world, there are reasons, and it was interesting because they brought up, have you noticed, Grizzly, that there's been a lot of bear attacks up in Canada? And I'm like, are they actually bear attacks? And like, we don't know. We're asking you. And I'm like, well, I don't know, because they're not going to call them Bigfoot or Dogman. I mean, we do have bear, attack people. Don't get me wrong. So, we're not going to have Bigfoot
they'll
gone
just say
wild.
animal. They'll just say animal attack. They won't
Yeah, right.
specify.
No, they
Okay.
will not talk to anybody, Brian, down to LBL. We already had people go down there and try to talk to the Fish and Wildlife. We had people talk to the people at the gift shops. No, even people that live down there won't talk to you about anything. So
You might as well as ask
nope.
about Sasquatch to indigenous people. It's about the same thing. Tight-lipped. You won't get anything out of them.
So yeah. And he says, of course, it's bears in Michigan DNR. So yeah. But they get a lot of good investigations down there, and it's darker than dark. And I mean, you imagine out in the middle of the woods with nothing surrounding. So and they said, Kim was telling me that they were out somewhere and they came across a cemetery out of nowhere back from the early 1800s that was nothing but lawmen. And he was like, where did this come from? So
Really, lawman?
just lawmen. I'm like, damn, what'd they do? Every time you was a sheriff, they whacked you and they put you in one spot. So
Yeah, that's interesting.
yeah, trash
But
pandas, Penny Van.
what was that land before? Like, I know it wasn't always a national park. I mean, there was all these cemeteries there. I mean, is there any
It's
other
just like the
history to it?
Appalachian Mountains. Yeah, it was Cherokee land and everything. That's where the Cherokees were and all that. Yeah, north of the LBL is very eerie. Yeah. Because Thomas, there's a lot of people, and we know this, and so does War Criminal, that go where you're not supposed to go to investigate and camp and check it out and explore. Yeah, it's a cryptid sanctuary. Yeah, I think not. I said it in front of everybody. I think it's a cover up, and that's where I'm sticking by.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think they have it blocked off, let it overgrown. They don't want people to go. So it's good to see Cryptic Cowboy, War Criminal says. So yeah. Yeah, they did. They have to move out of their homes. Yep, they forced them. Absolutely. They sure did. So, but yeah, it's
hauntingly beautiful. Hauntingly beautiful. That's probably the best description I've heard of it. Because they say it's great, but it does have this just feeling about it, right? There's a lot of energy there.
yeah. Well, I mean, if you're in the spot where there's everybody there and there's activity and the family and the campers, you're okay. But if you go off the beaten path, you notice the energy changes and the atmosphere changes. And then when you go where it's overgrown and it's blocked off and you're not supposed to go, then you really get that feeling like, whoa, why is this? So War Criminal says it's over 200,000 acres. So
yeah, it's 170,000 acres and 265 square miles, which is a big area. That's a big area.
yeah. So
Western Kentucky and Tennessee.
War used to work at KSP, Kentucky State Police. So yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to set
No,
something
I'll
up.
definitely holler at you and Thomas when I go down. Yeah. Ken ain't gonna care. So I'll holler at Mike Scott too. We'll make it a party. So
Let me know. Next spring, we'll get some time to plan.
yeah, I may have to buy me an expandable flagpole and a cell phone booster so I can go live.
Let's get a Starlink.
So I can get up above the trees.
Oh,
Get a cell phone
I finally
reception.
saw the Starlink when I was up in Ohio. I
Did
was
you?
walking away. Yeah, we were at my sister's wedding. I was walking back to the cars, and it's kind of late. And my brother-in-law was like, "Hey, look!" And like looked over, and just above the trees, there was just a train of. I mean, it looked like somebody shooting missiles in all in a straight line, and it was coming up above the trees. And then after it got probably, I don't know, twice as high in the air, it started fading off. Like it wasn't catching the sun anymore to reflect off of
Uh-huh.
them. But it was the coolest thing because they were super bright. And I was surprised. I was like, well, I can see why people confuse it for like UFOs and stuff like that. It's something you don't expect to see. But yeah, it was.
Hey,
He's like, well,
Russell.
last time I saw it go all the way across the sky. I'm like, really? Pretty neat.
Interesting.
Mr. Russell, how you doing?
Yeah, because when that first came out, everybody was like UFOs, UFOs, remember?
Mm-hmm.
So
I
yeah.
might be able to pull up the picture of it. Second. Sure.
Gary Spike says, War, we found a 24-inch track at LBL, didn't you? I didn't know that.
24-inch. Ooh,
That's
a 12
big.
foot. That's a 12-foot big something.
Now, I shot a buck at Taylorsville. This is back in, my Lord, 2008, 2009. It was a monster buck. It was more than 23 points. It probably would have been the state record. I shot it at 70 yards and I looked for a day and a half, couldn't find it. And it was a perfect shot. Now
Day and a
today
half, couldn't find it, huh?
I had people come down and help. It rained. Don't get me wrong, it rained. But I had people come down and help. Today I know what happened to it.
Oh,
I
wow.
think it got taken.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes, Crystal. I said hello earlier, darling. Welcome, Crystal. Yeah, I think it got taken. So,
There we go.
hello, Gene. Welcome to the show, too.
My daughter actually caught this. Let's see if I can get rid of us for a second. If I
Let
can
me
get
get
you
rid of the
bigger.
comment. See if that'll help a little.
Yeah, wait. Won't let me. Dang it. Yeah, you can only see it a little bit here. It was actually coming upwards, and they were in a line in a tight pattern, so it almost made the streak looking. But you could see them individually as they're coming up. It looked like a whole line of these stars all together. And then, like you can see this a little bit better. You don't almost see the spaces in there, but yeah. And then after it got about up to here, they all just started fading off and disappearing. That's pretty
Oh
cool. If you ever
man,
you ever see
that
that when you're
calls
out there.
a haven of UFO reports when that first came up.
Oh yeah, they didn't tell anybody about it or what it's going to look like. But I would have been freaking out too, to be honest with you, if I didn't know what the hell that was. So I was with somebody's like, oh yeah, they're the ones that pointed it out to me. So. And then here's what I was talking about this beginning of the show. This is a at least 3 foot long case, maybe a little bit longer. And this is the Bigfoot, I don't know what you would call it, species or whatever. Log. It's huge,
There you
right?
go, Brian.
36-inch specimen was collected. Researcher Dr. Matthew Johnson, Facebook team of Sasquatch USA in the Southern Oregon Interaction Area in 2016. It was found on a logging road, no pun intended, steaming warm to the touch between two 26 inches tracks. Right? It's massive. Left by Sasquatch he calls Zorth. They named Zorth. Estimated Zorth stands 10 foot tall. Well, by the math, it would be more like 13. And he has been observed by multiple witnesses and invited to his site, and you can follow his research on Facebook. So pretty cool. But no, I had the pleasure of not smelling it because it just I don't know. I don't know what they did to preserve it, but thankfully I didn't have to worry about that part.
Brian, does yours look anything similar to that? I hate to ask that question. I hate to see his response, but
He's got a picture of it. The one that he found was in snow, and it was a little more staggered, but it's up against his 15 foot or 15-inch foot.
see Gene's comment taken out the back of a pickup truck. Yeah,
Wow,
that's what
I'd
I'm
be so
saying.
mad. Yeah, I mean, you probably thought nothing about it before, other than the fact you couldn't find it. You
The
probably
cat,
figured you just didn't kill it, right?
no, no, the caliber I used, 35 Remington, it was a perfect shot.
But
So
never even found any evidence of blood trail or anything like
it
that.
was. I waited an hour and it started pouring down raining. So
Oh man,
yeah, then it got dark. Then I had headlamps and I looked and I looked and I called for backup and I stayed out. And backup came at 12 o'clock that night and we looked at 4 or 5. And my dad came at 7 or 8 that morning and we stayed out to 7 or 8 that night. I never lost one. And
you didn't
years
lose that one
later,
either.
so
You didn't lose that one either. That one got taken from you.
yeah,
That was the tax man got his tax.
yeah.
That's what we call it when you're out out in the Gulf or in the ocean fishing, and you're reeling up a big one, and a shark comes and takes a big giant bite out of it, or just takes the whole thing. We call that the tax man. So yeah, I guess that's the tax man for the woods is Bigfoot. Sasquatch taking his version or taking his rights.
Brian goes, it looks like the same color and shape, I believe. Mine was on a smaller scale for sure. Catherine said she's going, Grizz. Well, that's fine. More the merrier. Matter to me. Man, that's one heck of a sweet and low box.
Right? Wonder how many sweet and low boxes did that have to
I
contain
wonder how they collected that.
No idea.
So
It's pretty cool. Might have to track that person down and get them on the show. What do you think, Grizzly?
that would be wild. I mean, did they carry it like a baby?
Yeah, we got a lot of questions here. We're gonna have to dig into this one a little more. Brian, you're gonna be a guest. We're bringing you on that one, Brian.
So, I mean, I don't know. That's wild. So, who we got lined up for next week?
Got Shane Carpenter coming on next week. And I got a couple other folks lined up for the next 2 weekends after that. So Shane is up in Mike's area. He's up in the Ozarks. He's made a film called Into the 400, and he's got access to a 400 acre property. It's gotten a lot of activity. Actually, he just had an event, like some kind of conference a few weeks back. I believe Marty went up there and attended that conference. But yeah, the guy's real boots on the ground. It's going to be a fun interview. I definitely appreciate that kind of research because I'm a boots on the ground type of guy too. So he's found a lot of footprints, a lot of stuff. He's had a sighting, so you definitely don't want to miss it. If you haven't seen Shane before anywhere else, definitely come in and catch him next week.
Awesome.
I'm excited for it for sure.
Cool.
And Daniel Benoit. Benet. Possibly the week after that, and I think Matthew Cook is the other one. Got after that one coming up. So we got some people lined up. And then Wednesday we have Mike Famelot's girlfriend, who is a ghost hunter / she's had some experiences with Bigfoot herself. She's coming on Wednesday's breaking news show. Well, that'll be fun to catch on this coming Wednesday. I haven't talked to her yet, but it'll be interesting to hear her stories.
Awesome. Cool.
Mike says she's great, so of course he's going to. He's boyfriend, girlfriend. I guess he probably has to.
Yeah, now he's going to sleep on the couch.
Or on the other side of the tent or wherever they catch up. He's always on the road, that guy. So
yeah,
no way. Half the times he's out and about.
What do you mean? I remind you of John. Look at that. E-Rev. Huh. Crack me up.
True, she.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, from coast to coast and around the world, we'll catch you on the next show. Y'all have a good evening. Godspeed.
Good night.
We'll see you. Good night. Bye-bye.